uses only delicious tropical dragon fruit. No dragons are harmed. Get nature booster juice before dragon fruit vanishes once more.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Oh, new year, new me, right?
How about a resolution you'll actually enjoy?
5th January, resolve to get a better ride at Nisku Ford. It's the New Year, New Ride event. Leave last year's vehicle in the rear view mirror and start 2026 in a brand new Ford. Get rebates as high as $10,000 or choose interest rates as low as 0%. Now that's a resolution you can stick to. Visit Nisku Ford today or browse our new inventory at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
You haven't set your lineup yet, right? It's Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Good morning. Thank you for tuning into Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. Go pay him a visit. Say hello. Say hey to Trent. Grab a bag or two or more. That's what we always recommend. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's good to be back, Duke. Duke, I was with you on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but I don't think I was.
You were here in body.
I don't think I was actually with you.
You were going through it, a little illness, sort of thing running through, and you battled as best you could. Tried to put your flu game face on, but the grind of a 4-hour afternoon show where you're a little more taxed and tasked, you had to hand things over to DP.
Yeah, I said there's no point in me being here.
Your point
for the Friday show.
You're a detriment to the program in your current state. You did what Matthew Tkachuk could not at Four Nations Face-Off last year and took yourself out of the lineup for the betterment of the team.
I was like, I don't want to get people sick is one of the things. Now, it was funny because we have Cheyenne who's doing some social media work for us, doing clips. And there was a couple like where you were the focal point of them.
Ouch.
I'm like, I was zoned right out. I don't remember you saying that.
The camera's still on you and you're watching the clip. You're like, who's behind those eyes?
Yeah, like I just zoned out. Too much cough syrup, but feeling a little bit better here.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. We're glad to have you back at least close to full strength.
Yeah, glad to be back. Of course. Get your text into 1-833-401-1440. Lots to get to in the program today. Of course, we'll recap the weekend in the NFL. Great weekend until the Sunday nighter.
Sorry, Cons. Sorry about your Bolts, man. It was ugly.
I've moved on.
Yeah, that's true. You texted Declan and I and said your support is fully behind our teams, the Texans and Bills, in an effort to take down your rivals, being
enemies.
The Broncos and or New England Patriots.
Got to take them all down. Didn't get a reply from you guys, which kind of hurt.
Well, it was nighttime. I was probably asleep already.
I was like, oh man, these guys. I'm like.
I was
my moment of weakness.
I was in no mood to talk to you after watching what the LA Chargers did on my TV screen last night.
It was not good. 30 pressures by the Patriots defense on Justin Herbert. I like how Chris Collinsworth was like, Yeah, they're playing.
They're doing a pretty good job.
I'm like, what?
Sack.
By their standard, yeah. But no, it was not a good performance.
But by an NFL standard,
terrible.
Absolutely not.
Drake May, that throw to Hunter Henry was terrific. Just got over the tips of the fingers of Derwin James. But their defense looks good. We'll see who they get next year. Obviously, your Texans and the Steelers tonight have something to say about that one. But the weekend as a whole, like Rams-Panthers was fantastic.
Awesome game.
Bears-Packers, terrific. The Bears looked awful and then looked like how they can look. Bills-Jags, another great game. Niners-Eagles gave us some fun and just kind of sucked on Sunday night. But other than that, a really good weekend in the NFL. Tonight, if I had to guess, like, Duke, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but I have a feeling your Texans will have their way with the Steelers. I think that defense is just too good.
That's where I'm landing it too. Kevin and Eddie are trying to steer me and sow a little seed of doubt, but I'm very confident going into this game. Maybe too confident. I know RBS is probably our most vocal Steelers fan that listens and texts into the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing personal, but like just matchup wise, that these two teams, I think it is very much in the Texans' favor. I won't count my chickens before they hatch in this game or even ahead to next week should they win and play the Patriots. But I've liked how the Texans have looked in the back half of the season for sure.
Now, people hear the term game manager, and I feel like that's a frowned upon.
It gets
term.
a negative connotation.
That's all CJ Stroud has to do, man. Like, honestly,
don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, that's it. Make a couple throws here and there. Take what the Steelers defense gives to you. Don't take sacks to put yourself out of field goal range. And if you have to settle for 3 points, you settle for 3 points and let your defense kind of do the rest and try to win the field position game. But yeah, the pass rush that the Texans have, the corners, the whole defense as a whole is just nasty. D'Amico Ryans has built up a really good group there. So I think I'm leaning that way, but we'll talk about that. Oilers in action tonight, taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Puck drop 6:30. Pregame coverage here on Sports 1440 with Andrew Walker gets going at 5:30. Andrew Mangiapane back in on the third line with Rostovic and Savoy. Howard coming out. Rest of the forward and defensive lines staying intact. Connor Ingram gets his second straight start. Now, do you like that, Duke? Do you like Mangiapane getting back in there? He's got to, he doesn't have to, but I guess he's got to get back out there eventually.
And I think maybe that is the only real thing to take away from this is that he is still an NHL player, even if he isn't a particularly effective one at this stage in the way he's played this year with the Oilers. So I know there'll be a little bit of discontent from the fan base that it's Ike Howard is the casualty of him coming out. I'm sure most Oilers fans would prefer just to see Frederick and Mangiapane swap places in and out of the press box on a night-to-night basis. But it's not the reality. Get him in there. He does seem as in theory, better fit to play a bottom six role than Ike Howard, who is a primarily skill-based player, right? And he was having a great season in Bakersfield, earned the chance to get back to the NHL and get some games in, and he's shown flashes. But I'm not sure that there was enough on Saturday on aggregate to say there's no way we can take this guy out of the lineup, right? And you go up against a Chicago team that's playing much better the past couple weeks, at least compared to how they first fared when Connor Bedard got hurt, who is also back, by the way. I'm excited for this game. I didn't get to watch the last Oilers-Blackhawks game. It's when I was on holiday in Mexico, that overtime one where Bouchard scored the winner. So getting a chance to see the Blackhawks, who play with a lot of pace, a lot of up and down the ice chances. Oilers can play that game if they want to. It's just a matter of which side gives up less. Maybe not in chances, but actually just goals. And I think most people would look at the season so far and say, I like Spencer Knight to maybe stop some of these looks over whatever goaltender the Oilers are going to roll out. So I'm excited. Should be a really good hockey game.
Yes.
Entertaining, if nothing else, I would hope.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Connor Ingram going to get the start tonight. So that'll be the goalie they do roll out tonight. Checking in on the YouTube chat here. Triple Crown. Franks. Hey, boys, sorry about your Chargers, Connor. That Pats defense rush was too much for you to handle.
Which is funny because that's not really the calling card of this Patriots defense, right?
Well, that was the story going in about how their defensive line was graded so poorly.
If it's like people thought the Chargers had a chance in this game because, yeah, the Chargers O-line stinks, but it's not like the Patriots are rolling out the Texans defensive front or the Broncos defensive front. but it kind of looked like they were that last night through parts of the game. Milton Williams was excellent.
Yeah.
But he's and correct me if I'm wrong, he's more of like a run stopper guy than a pass rusher guy. He can obviously do both, but
Well, when, Bradley Bozeman doesn't know what he's doing out there.
just out there having fun for the love of the game.
Makes it look pretty easy. Josh had a good comment. Too much for the 41st out of 41st PFF ranked O lineman. Objectively, when they do those PFF rankings, it's funny. Like when they go through the Chargers offensive line.
Especially on when Chargers play Sunday night, because it's right there on their player intros on the opening drive. And you just see like last, second last, third last. Just doesn't inspire a ton of confidence.
Yeah. I mean, hey, next year, as always, as a Chargers fan, as a sports fan, we always look forward to next year.
Hope springs eternal, Connor. You've always got next year.
Need a couple healthy tackles. Spend some money in free agency. Bring in a center. Guy out of Baltimore. Pay whatever it takes. And then the offensive line might be okay. But not going to matter this year. 1-833-401-1440. MTR says, also Bradley Bozo is the worst center I've ever seen, Con man. Yeah. Some of the screenshots are just hilarious. I showed Declan them once, and he put it into his story on Instagram for some reason. He's like, this is hilarious. It just looks so dumb. Like they get spun around, and all you have to do is kind of stunt on him, and he'll just go in the total wrong direction. Anytime you have a little movement amongst the interior offensive linemen, it's like he can't compute. He's a great glue guy, no doubt about that. Good guy in the community. Good human. Not the best center. Not going to win too many football games in the playoffs with him around, because you just can't overcome it. And then now for Justin Herbert, that is 3 straight playoff losses. The story continues. I would say, and Chargers fans, a big debate right now, but someone had said, if Justin Herbert doesn't play a 10 out of 10 game, they don't win. And last night he didn't play a 10 out of 10 game. He was 5 or 6 out of 10. So not ideal. Keenan Allen, couple drops, but overall, as we've mentioned, a pretty good weekend in the NFL.
Did you have a favorite game? I'm assuming last night was not, even though your team was playing in it. Granted, they lost. But did you have one game that was your number one?
I thought Bears-Packers, just sitting down and watching it Saturday night, just the rivalry. The stadium looked fantastic.
Bear weather there, a little snow falling to start things off.
Love the Bears uniforms going to all navy.
Double navy.
Yeah. I think that was probably the one for me that I enjoyed the most. And 25 points in the fourth quarter. Are you kidding me? Packers fans, hey, I could tell the Chargers were done early. So I could accept it pretty quickly. Although, you know what? If Deion Henley picks up that fumble, maybe we got a chance at the end there. Anywho, Packers fans got to be sick. You get outscored 25-6 in the fourth quarter and lose that football game, a game you had no business losing. You're up 21-3 at halftime. I'd say that was it. Colston Loveland, a bit of a slow start to the season, Duke, but man, if we're talking fantasy football next year, I think that's a guy you have to kind of prioritize as a tight end. He looked really good.
Really? Oh, yeah. I mean, and that Bears offense, we've seen what it's capable of, right? And Caleb Williams was as good as we've seen him, I thought, in the second half of the game in particular. It was largely the Bears defense that just couldn't get anything going in the first half. Jordan Love and the Packers picked him apart at every turn, which led to the big lead that they amassed, but they could not hold on to. So a lot of credit to the Bears. I think Ben Johnson called a pretty bad game in the first half, and then kind of turned into his normal self following. I was on the Bears. I had them to win this game because of the unpredictability of both sides' respective defenses. And another thrilling finish. When you talk about this, they obviously walked it off against them the second game of the regular season matchup. I think that one was at home as well, when a similar play, deep shot to DJ Moore. The run game was solid. That's been the Bears' MO all season, to support what Caleb Williams can do. Yeah, it was very entertaining. I was more entertained, though, I think, by the Rams and Panthers, because it was kind of back and forth all night, whereas the Packers-Bears, to me, was two different games split around the halftime.
The finish, yeah.
It was all Packers, and then it was largely all Bears.
Do you think with that, obviously, if you're looking as a potential free agent, Carolina, how enticing is it to you with that division kind of being in shambles? I think the Saints are probably in the right direction. The Bucks, who knows? Falcons, we'll see who their next head coach is. they've got some nice pieces out there in Carolina. And I don't know, like Jalen Coker, man, the guy looked really good.
I saw the number, and there were, I think, 6 total first or second round receivers from his draft year where he was undrafted playing this weekend, and he outperformed all of them by a pretty wide margin. I mean, he had 130 yards. The score was, he was really good for them, as was Tedero McMillan, their top pick from this last year. So I'm right there with you. Like, it does seem like they're still a few pieces away. It's not like the Panthers are one big ad at any given position. They need quite a bit more help on defense, I think, and maybe the O-line to an extent, which I thought held up pretty well over the year. You look at how good the run game was. But that has to be an enticing spot, especially if, like you said, your primary focus is getting a chance to play in the playoffs, winning games. That division, take your pick, roll the dice on any given season about who's going to come out of it, and the Panthers look primed to do so.
Shout out Chuba Hubbard as well.
Yeah,
2 touchdowns.
Really good game for the local.
I was looking into it. Panthers this year, $28 million cap space going into next season. So they'll have a little bit of money to spend, but I'm sure they're going to have to lock up some guys. Right now, the Chargers actually have $103 million next year.
Where are they going to spend that, Connor?
Interior offensive line.
Anywhere, everywhere.
I don't know the name of the Steeler. Someone said they have a guard who's really good, and then Tyler Lindenbaum out of the Ravens organization. Back up the truck, give him what he wants. It's funny just looking at the dead money, because that was what the Chargers had to clean up. They have under $500,000 in dead cash, similar to the Seahawks. Commanders also done a really good job of that. Who do you think is the most?
The most cap space or dead money? Well, are the Broncos not off the hook now for Wilson?
They are. Yeah, they only have $1 million. Pretty good for them.
That's pretty good. The rest, the most dead money. Geez, I don't know. It's gonna be the Falcons, is it not?
Don't think so. It's the Jets.
Oh my
$75 million in dead cap. The Saints are at 65. It's not good. So that tough to build when you have that situation. A lot of teams in cap. You know what? Chiefs at this point $58 million over the cap. So they'll just renegotiate 2 deals and be fine.
Yeah.
We know the salary cap's fake in the NFL. They'll just make a couple moves and push it down the line, as the Saints did for a decade. But interesting to see. Couple text. Actually, you know what? Before we get to that, I just got an email from Cam Tate. He says he's looking for some quick card minor hockey week stories for his 2-minute warning today. So if you've got any stories, send them to Cam at sports1440.ca, and your name will be into a draw to be Taylor's guest at the Oilers game, or at a Oilers game. So if you have
not tonight's in
Chicago, but if you want to send a story to Cam at sports1440.ca about minor hockey week, he will enter your name to a draw, and you can be his guest at an Oilers game. And that's in the press box, hanging out with the bigwigs up there. The Fog says, hey, guys, any thoughts on A.J. Brown's pathetic performance? Well, dude, we talked about this at many points during the season. He's got to be done in Philly. They have to move on from him.
And I think that depending on how they move on from it, like, he's good enough, you can probably still find a trade partner, right? And maybe that lessens the blow on like owed money, or once again, the salary cap in the NFL is something that eludes my breadth of understanding. But he is still a really good player. There has to be interest. I know the name you've thrown out a lot is the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
As a potential landing spot.
Keon Coleman and a draft pick.
Yeah, it seems like there could be a deal to be had. I thought Eddie Steele put it best this morning, where he basically said, him and Kevin both, like, this was the karma of a culmination of a season where he complained, he whined, he seemed much more interested on the individual side of things than team success. And we shouldn't be surprised by how this game went from the Eagles' offensive side of things, because we saw it all year. But many of us, myself included, thought they are the Eagles. They're defending champs. We saw them fix a lot of things that we thought were broken in the playoffs last year, and it was mostly Saquon Barkley. But the pass game, Jalen Hurts plays his best in the playoffs. Not the case yesterday. The Niners, you feel terrible for a guy like George Kittle, who's not going to have a chance to keep playing with his team as he tore his Achilles. But the Niners absolutely deserve to win the football game, and you give them, Kyle Shanahan, a ton of credit with how they've done it for how many injuries they've had all season long.
I was in a group chat with my friends, and as soon as we saw that injury, I was like, "Oh, did you see his calf?"
Like, saw the little twitch.
It sucks how good we are at analyzing torn Achilles now. Like, you can just tell immediately, like, yeah, he's done for a long time. Did you hear the story about the bottle of tequila as well?
Diana Rossini, I believe, was reporting in live time on that the owner of the team is who brought it down for Kittle per his request, and then nothing left of it by the time the locker room was cleared out.
Now, he could have only had a little and then shared some with the boy. Or he polished the whole bottle off himself.
I would respect him either way.
Yeah, that's tough, man. And like recovery time, I think it's kind of a vague recovery because I've seen 4 to 12 months. But is he going to be ready for the start of next season? It'll be tough. Certainly brutal for George Kittle. But I will say, Demarcus Robinson stepped up huge. Christian McCaffrey in the passing game was big. Juszczyk made some big plays. Juwan Jennings, who famously has as many throwing touchdowns as Justin Herbert in the playoffs.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up or if I would have to.
Oh, it's a great stat that everyone loves to bring up. They've got some depth there. So just, you know what? I would say another day for the Niners. Another day, another injury. It's like what they're used to, and they just continue to find ways to win. That's why Shanahan is my coach of the year. Let's take a break. When we come back, more text into the inbox, 1-833-401-1440. It's Fantasy Frenzy on Sports 1440, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup?
That would be awesome, but completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Will Hawk Beef Jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win cups with salad.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
When the ground freezes, you wonder how anything can get done. And instead of staying outside in temperatures that would make a polar bear cry, you head inside where it's toasty and warm. But that's not what GS Construction does. Because while the ground freezes above, we plan below, rebuilding and revitalizing the systems that keep our communities working year after year. Now, don't worry. GS Construction promises to do everything safely and efficiently, and we'll wear our extra warm clothing outside. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
The BCHL All-Star Game is coming to the Thompson Family Arena in Spruce Grove. The league's best players will go head-to-head in 2 exciting games, January 16th and 17th. The BCHL College Prospects Game takes place on Friday, January 16th at 7 p.m., while the premier matchup will see Canada take on the world on Saturday, January 17th at 7:30 p.m. For ticket inquiries and excellent group ticket packages, go to tickets.sgsaints.ca.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Mr. Rooter goes skiing. Sick gear, Mr. Rooter. Are you ready to hit the slopes?
Not yet. I need to report a possible crime.
Oh, no. What's happening?
I saw a bunch of hooligans discussing shredding the half pipe. As a plumber, I've taken the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm and act in the best interest of all pipes, whether PVC, copper, or otherwise.
It's made of snow, Mr. Rooter.
Snow? Things are worse than I had feared.
There's no better plumber than Mr. Rooter.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 EEE. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the 2 best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Your fantasy football league sucks. Why? Oh, we've got 7 painfully accurate reasons. And don't worry, we've got fixes too. Visit fantasytoilet.com for all the tools and hilarious awards to make your fantasy league suck less.
Who should start? Who needs to hit the bench? Find out with Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:24. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Alley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here. Brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky. Quick shout out to friend of the show, Bryce, who I heard might have torn both his MCLs over the weekend playing goalie. Hope you're doing okay.
Such a shame.
Now, Bryce famously also tore the Duke's ACL once in a game of what I was told was non-contact football.
Yeah, just a friendly game of two-hand touch football. The boys at the bachelor party, and everybody wants to be the jokester.
Yeah,
laying the big hit. Now, usually when that happens, though, it's when the game's actually being played and not in between downs. Like if this happened in a college football game, he'd be kicked out of the league.
It was that dirty
for the targeting personal foul. It was egregious.
Just dove at your knee.
I have a hard time sympathizing with him in this moment.
Well, if you're listening, Bryce,
and this is
half
a guy,
the show is thinking of you.
And this is also a guy that throughout, because when I tore my ACL the first time and had surgery and stuff, the joke, and he loves to pile on with it as many other my friends do, calling me injury prone, broken, old, stuff like that. So yeah, such a shame.
Such a shame.
Such a shame. That's all I can say. Just such a shame.
Well, from what I've heard, he's going for a second opinion.
Yeah, the first opinion being his WebMD research.
Yeah.
And I know his
that's
wife
always the first
his
one.
wife is a nurse, but he never in our group chat said what her opinion on the matter was. So we'll have to see.
We'll wait and see. Text lines 1-833-401-1440 if you'd like to get in on the conversation. Lots of text rolling in here. MTR said, how does LaFleur still have a job? 3-6 in the playoffs, multiple choke jobs dating back to the Rodgers days. I don't know. I mean, how many organizations would love to be 3-6 in the playoffs? Sometimes you just got to roll with your guy. I remember people wanted Rivera fired from the Carolina Panthers back in the day. Then they went to the Super Bowl. So maybe they believe in him. Maybe they should move on. Who's out there? Who's going to be an upgrade? Duke, you got any immediate upgrades?
On LaFleur?
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious answer is maybe John Harbaugh, but
Belichick?
Harbaugh's not a play caller.
So you need an OC?
Belichick. Matt LaFleur clearly has some work to do with holding leads, but he's a really good head coach and a really good offensive mind. When they've had backup quarterbacks go in and cue the discussion about if this is a detriment on your starting quarterback instead, like Malik Willis has a couple times over the past few seasons come in and handled the job very well, and they do change the way they call the game. I think it would be silly to move on from a guy like LaFleur, but I also was in favor of, and not in disagreement, not necessarily in favor, but didn't disagree with the Ravens firing Harbaugh, who's has as much success as anybody. He does have a Super Bowl, which LaFleur can't say, and now he's looking for a new job. So just because you're good doesn't mean you should automatically keep your job. But in this circumstance, I think it is applicable.
Yeah. Also, like he says, the Packers don't celebrate playoff appearances. It's not the same. Well, I don't know. Grass isn't always greener. If you could get a guy who would be a clear upgrade, then yeah, I think you would consider doing it. It'd be a bold move. But maybe he's got one more chance. Matt K says, if it makes you feel any better, I've watched every Pats game this year, and that was the best defense Drake May has faced all year. They looked really good. Yeah, no, defense was fine. That's just Chargers defense is good. They need a real stud pass rusher, I think. Curious to see what Khalil Mack does. I like Drake May's game, and you know what? I'd been kind of skeptical this year. Like, he obviously skeptical to a certain extent. He's still number 2 on my MVP ballot if I had one. Like, he's been outstanding, but he makes really good decisions. I think that's a really good trait for him. Like, he's a lot of times with the young quarterbacks, they'll try to force it or, heave one up. Like, every ball he threw, I thought was a really good throw. The only bad one was the tip. That's not exactly his fault. So, yeah, he was good. Thought throw to Hunter Henry was a dot, and their defense was really good. Looked really good last night. Now, you're not going to get that Chargers offensive line next week. So we'll see, how it looks against a bit of a better team. But, yeah, good things going in Patriots country. Stulo said, hey, gents, have you guys heard the ongoing story with Dougie Hamilton? He's got a 10-team trade list, but they will trade him anywhere since they're healthy scratching him. Should the Oilers employ that strategy with Darnell Nurse? I'm not a hater, but he could use a fresh start, in my opinion. I don't know.
But like a part of the reason I think the Devils are open to moving Hamilton is clearly he's fallen out of favor, but also they would like some freedom and flexibility from the cap hit. Trading him for Darnell Nurse doesn't give them that. So I don't know. I mean, sure Stan Bowman could try and get a little creative here, but I wouldn't be putting many eggs in that basket if I were surveying the trade front.
Yeah. I think I'm with you. I don't think the Oilers will employ that same strategy. Well, I mean, there was a time in the start of the year, midway through the year, we were talking about it. Like, it didn't seem like he was maybe at his happiest, but
and to the point about like using that strategy to try and like force his hand, the Oilers are not in the same situation as the Devils, that they have better defensemen below them on the depth chart.
Yeah. You take him out of the lineup
and all of a sudden it's like, that is a lot of minutes. And you don't have to love Darnell Nurse every shift, every game at all, really. You can't deny that he is serviceable. He's reliable. And he hasn't been very strong this year on aggregate. But if you're looking at like elevating a guy like Spencer Stastny to play those minutes, yeah, he's been great, but in a third pairing role, which is where he's suited to play. Once Jake Wallman makes his return, which does seem to be in pretty short order, gives you obviously one more legitimate top 4 guy. But yeah, I wouldn't be rushing out the door to get rid of Darnell Nurse for a bag of CCM pucks.
I should say this segment is for elksnation.ca, 2 weekly podcast with Eddie Steele, Declan Kruger, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth W football coverage you'll find. Check it out, elksnation.ca. Now, Duke, I don't want to make this about the Chargers, but we've got a few more texts coming in about them.
Well, everybody wants to know your pain.
Yeah, well, James from the Hood says, hey, guys, what's up with the Chargers in the playoffs? Their defense was definitely good enough to win. The offense with Herbert couldn't do anything. He's so far proven that he can't get it done when it counts. If you were the GM of the Chargers, what would you do? Make a lot of changes, thoughts? Here, the one thing I will say about Herbert and like the playoffs, his record speaks for itself. It's 0-3. He hasn't had his best games. They've been underdogs in all these games. They've been going on the road. Like, this is not the number 1 seed losing every year. They've been the inferior team in each of these matchups, I would say. The collapse of Jacksonville was obvious. The game against the Texans had the 4 picks, 2 of which I think should have been caught. If I'm the Chargers, I'm praying for health. I think that if they are healthy, then all of a sudden you have Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, 2 of the best tackles in the NFL. That's going to make your guard play look a whole lot better. This offseason for me, I would be improving the center position. Bradley Bozeman is the worst center in the NFL. I would think that there's probably some teams that have better backups than him. I would look to add some pass rush, and I would try to get Justin Herbert a top-tier receiver. This pains me to say, but I think Ladd McConkey's a number 2. I think that Keenan Allen at this point can't be counted on to be number 1 guy. Quentin Johnston, 2 hit and miss. So I think they probably need to bring in a legitimate number 1 receiver. Now, I don't know who that would be. Probably where they're drafting, they're not going to find one. But they've got to make some improvements for sure. And they've got to stay healthy. If you go back to early December, I said it on this show, I said it on the Gregor show, that I thought there was a good chance they lose out and miss the playoffs. So the fact that they made the playoffs, I thought was good. They had a impressive, maybe fluky win against the Eagles. They had a good win against the Cowboys to get into the playoffs, but the team, without their 2 top tackles, that offensive line just wasn't good enough. And Justin Herbert will face the criticism. You're near the quarterback. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, up front, not strong enough. MTR said they lost the game in the first quarter after they didn't get 7 after the tip pick. Yeah, 100%. And then also they could have taken the field goal and they went for it, which I don't hate.
What were you in favor of in that moment, watching it in real time, not the benefit of hindsight?
Take the points. And Harbaugh's done that all year, so I don't know why he changed it up. But every game that this weekend, Duke, teams were not settling for the points.
Are you a big believer in the notion, Connor, that the coach's decision in spots like that really, really hinges on how the rest of the team is playing? And now that's at the start of the game, right? Or very early in the game. But you know your defense is good. So you say, okay, this might be a low-scoring affair. We want 7 points, but 3 points could benefit us. Now, flip side that. Saturday's game, Bears and Packers. Ben Johnson. Yes, he is a very aggressive coach going back to his time as a coordinator with Detroit, but he looks down the sideline and says, my defense is not very good. I need to essentially try and get a touchdown every time I have the ball. I will be going for it even when perhaps analytics tell me it is not the smart or the intelligent move.
I used to like that strategy against the Chiefs because you had to attack. You had to be aggressive.
Like you knew the Chiefs, when they got the ball back, were going to come down and put 7 on you.
Yeah.
So as a result, you have to score touchdowns.
Now, like situations are situational. Like that one for the Chargers inside the 5. You're like, okay, if we don't get it, they have to march 95 yards down the field. It's a good position to put them in. They obviously had that. I think it was right after to Ramondre Stevenson, and he had the big game. Took them
big play
right out of that position. Yeah, I think for me, especially in the playoffs, just take the points and then trust your special teams to hold them, inside the 30 and give your defense a fair chance. But in every single game, like my group chat, we were documenting it like, okay, you could have taken the points there. Could have taken the points, and especially for the Bears in that game, had they taken points in a few situations, obviously they come back to win, doesn't matter. But they're not down, 18 points going at halftime, right?
Yeah.
So
it makes that hole to climb out of, at least to the player's perspective, seem more doable. Like it's not rocket science. And yeah, some teams believe in themselves no matter how much they're down. But it's like you're coming out of the locker room at the half and you say, all right, we just need to get a score here, like a touchdown on your first possession, be like, and we're right in this, as opposed to we basically have to score on every possession, to get ourselves back in this. Like, which is more daunting? It seems super simple, but it's fact.
Moist Man said, speaking of the Chargers offense, what do you think about Trey Harris? I have him in Dynasty League, hoping he'll be a number 1 receiver. I really like him, Moist Man. He's a great blocker. That's how he got onto the field this year. And then that actually led to points where, off the play action, he was used as a receiver. I think there is a lot of upside, but wait and see what happens. Like if Keenan Allen gets re-signed, that's going to keep him lower on the depth chart. McConkey's going to be there for a long time. Quentin Johnston's got a few more years left in his contract. So I like him, but I think patience is going to have to be there. But he's a hard-nosed player.
No block, no rock.
Yeah, and he likes, they were using him like in motion as a lead blocker. He gets out there and throws it around, but then he actually made some big plays down the stretch this season. So I do like him. Any more texts here we want to get to? Jay and Victoria. Hey guys, some great football this weekend. I'm a Seahawks fan, and I'm wondering, an objective side, if the Seahawks can beat a Kittle-less Niners team. As a Jays and Oilers fan, I'm getting hurt every time I believe. Jay from Victoria.
Fair.
I think you should believe for sure.
You beat them when they had George Kittle.
Yeah.
Like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
I wouldn't say it's a lock by any means, but absolutely they can. That defense is legit out in Seattle. You got 2 good running backs. Darnold's making plays. Jackson Smith-Njigba obviously is a stud. And then, Cooper Kupp makes a couple plays here and there. Why not? it was sad to say, dude. I was looking at the potential schedule for next weekend. I was like, sucks the Chargers are out, but we got some good games coming up. We'll see what happens tonight with the Texans and Steelers, but we got some good games. NFC games are going to be fantastic. So, yeah, I think there's a chance. Not to say, I'm not saying it's a lock, but there's a chance.
I would put it at a good chance.
Good chance?
And this was a guy that was full in on the Niners to beat them last Saturday and take the 1 seed. Seahawks kind of bullied them a little bit in that game, defensively in particular. So you just you talk about what CJ Stroud needs to do in, say, a game like tonight, or for the Texans to have success. The same can be said of Sam Darnold. You have good players at your other skill positions, maybe the best receiver in the league this year in JSN. Get him the ball. Don't turn it over. Don't do dumb things. As a quarterback, your defense will give you a chance to win, no doubt.
One more text here quickly. Kenneth just saying LaFleur should have been gone after his decision against the Bucs in the playoffs. Made 0 sense. Dumbest decision in sports history. That's when he took the ball out of Rodgers' hands, right? Kicked a field goal.
Was that when he was like he was down a score and then he kicked a field goal to also remain down a score?
They were down 8, I want to say, and then took the field goal.
Yeah, I believe that.
And then we're kind of relying on would have been an onside kick, kind of stop. Yeah, it was 8 points. 4th and goal on the 8-yard line. I understood what he was doing at that time. I don't think it was the dumbest thing.
Yeah, I've seen dumber.
But it didn't work. And then you're opening yourself up to criticism.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, how do you fire a guy after a good season and a playoff appearance, unless there's a significant improvement at the coaching position? Tough job running a pro sports franchise. We'll take a break here. When we come back, more text 1-833-401-1440. It's Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Also watching on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Will Hawk beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Will Hawk beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Will Hawk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Why pay dealership prices when you can get the same quality for less? Hi, it's Lisa, and here at Ed's Auto Salvage, we've been Alberta's trusted source for used auto parts for nearly 50 years. From engines to mirrors, transmissions to tires, we've got it all at prices guaranteed to keep your wallet happy. Shop local, shop smart. Shop Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Be sure to visit us online at edsautosalvage.com and get your vehicle back on the road for less.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhock Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:44. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy. Here on Sports 1440, Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. Show brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at willhockbeefjerky.com. You can also email us if you'd like. Connor at sports1440.ca. Brandon at sports1440.ca. Coming up next, it'll be the Lowdown Flow Tide from noon till 2. Monday edition of the show. So Jason Greger will be by. Rachel Krychuk as well to get you ready for Oilers Blackhawks. Then from 2 to 6, it is the Jason Greger Show. We've got Kevin Woodley joining us. Alan Saunders will be by. Talk some Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll have Spec. We'll head to Chicago. Cam Tate's 2-minute warning as well. And at 5:30, actual pregame coverage will get going. So keep it locked here on Sports 1440, 5:30 to 6:30. Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro. And then once that game wraps up, post-game coverage as well. Now, just quickly here. Triple C Trucks at Hamilton contract is way worse than theirs, but nobody wants to talk about it. Not in Edmonton, at least. Probably in Jersey. And then Northside loses. Hamilton is butter soft. Puts up some points, though. Or had. Rowdy Roddy says, good morning, Connor and Duke. All I can say is how many injuries of superstars in any sport has one team had? Was thinking, are there any Zamboni drivers out there that can play tight end? Insane, but we win. Sorry about your Chargers, Cons. Rowdy Roddy. Oh, yeah. I've said it for a while here. Like, Kyle Shanahan is just, and his staff has just done such a great job. You're down all these players. You just, next man up mentality, ready to go. Guys stepping up. It'll be tough, no doubt about it. Without George Kittle, they've got a little experience from this season, but as MTR says, they need Pearsall back. Absolutely. I think he's missed more games in his career than he's played. Got to get him back out there. Got to keep him healthy. Afternoon, boys. Kittle wasn't in the game a couple weeks ago. He was on the sideline resting. Well, he's been out, and he had injuries throughout the season as well. Now, will he be on the sideline next week, or will he be in the press box sipping on tequila?
With that leg up.
With that, yeah, just chilling. I feel for him. That's a long recovery time. He's got to put in a lot of work. What year is George Kittle in? 8? He's 32. So by the time he gets back, he'll be 33 coming off an Achilles injury. I'm not saying he's given up because I don't think he would. I think this guy loves football. But that's a tough one to come back from. For a future Hall of Famer, I would say. If you're the Niners, Duke, you got to look at tight end this offseason. Got to get ahead of it. Well, Tongs is pretty good.
Yeah, he's actually impressed me a lot this season when he has been in Kittle's stead. Clearly a player they like. They trust him inside the offense, if nothing else.
Kenneth just follows up. They needed a stop anyway, so it puts them back into needing a stop again and a TD. Field goal to nothing. You're right. I mean, they still would have needed a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. You go from needing a touchdown to needing a touchdown.
Yeah. You go from needing a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to needing a touchdown to win. Plus a stop.
Plus the stop.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah, with limited clock. I don't recall the timeout situation or anything, but yeah, that just sticks in everyone's mind. It's unfortunate because of everything we discussed, how good of a coach LaFleur is. That is really the thing that most people think of. And also that he was on the staff for the 28-3 meltdown. And now this. It's just something about that Shanahan tree.
Outside of McVay.
Yeah, McVay doesn't blow leads.
He's pretty good. It is funny when you go back and watch that 28-3 meltdown. How many if they just did this, moments they're off.
And they didn't need to like, well, if they just done this and then this and this. No, it's pretty much singularly.
Yeah.
At any point, they could have done one thing, and it would have halted the Patriots, like just in terms of play calling, clock management, which has another knock on LaFleur's game. Just one small thing at any different point could have resulted in the Falcons being Super Bowl champs.
Tiger says, just curious, do you guys receive many emails? No.
Oh, I get many emails. Not from listeners necessarily. But I've got one in my inbox right now. And it's from Connor Hood.
Oh.
Giving me the layout for this week's Golden Bears and Pandas schedule and their practice times. Trying to see what piques my interest here. There's a curling at the Savile all week. Very exciting.
We're talking about like kind of hindsight plays. That interception, was it the Packers had? Caleb Williams threw it. It ended up just being like a punt.
Where it's like the interception cost them like 30 yards of field position.
That's one of those things like how aggravating that must be for a defensive coordinator. Like,
great catch though.
Hey, you get your hands on the ball as a DB. You want to bring it in.
It's instinctual, but at the same time, the football IQ has to kick in there.
Yeah.
Because they did to just bat it down.
For the Bears, it was like, okay, that's just like a punt, whatever. We'll take it. Caleb Williams doesn't like it for the stats, obviously, and wants to complete the first down. But you looking at it, it was like that was actually kind of best case scenario from that throw.
Oh, for the Bears side of things, for sure. Outside of completing the first down, the other possible options, that is 100% next on the list.
Triple C says the celebration was hilarious. What an idiot. Yeah, I mean, your words, not mine. It was he made a play, but it poorly timed. And yeah, I feel like it's probably got to the bench and was like, why did I catch that? We just gave up 30 yards in field position. Actually put the Bears defense in a decent spot, but they got the loss, so maybe it contributed. I don't know. 1-833-401-1440. In case you missed it, we did run through the Oilers lineup for the most part, staying very similar. Andrew Mangiapane is going to draw back into the lineup. He'll be on the third line with Roslovic and Savoy. Ike Howard out of the lineup. The Edmonton Oilers still trying to pick up 3 wins in a row, which has just been impossible for them to do. Dude, going back to that game on Saturday night, were you clearly on the side, no goal for McDavid?
I don't know about clearly, but I think the fact, like the call on the ice was an indicate. Like I didn't disagree, I guess, with the final result. Maybe put it that way. It's another case where, listen, they got the game to overtime off of the McDavid goal to force it. But were they the better team in the game? They were outshot. Most of their chances were largely perimeter based. I thought Forsberg was good, the Kings goaltender. So I don't know. I thought the Oilers played fine, but if it comes down to like just a goal or no goal call on that type of play in OT, I didn't disagree with the call.
You want to know what I do disagree with?
Okay.
Those Kings helmets.
Yeah, thank you.
Those look like such garbage.
Bringing back like the Gretzky era jerseys was such a good move. Just wear black helmets.
Yeah.
And I feel like that the same could be said to probably a dozen teams across the NHL in certain uniform combinations they have. Just wear black helmets and pants. Or whatever else. If you have black jerseys, still fine. Still fine to wear black helmets and pants, but I get it. It's not the way.
You could wear white helmets even with that jersey. It's such a good look. Like the Gretzky era Kings logo. I love the uniform. And then they put on those, they just look cheap. The silver helmets. I don't know. I don't like that trend in hockey. I hope the Oilers never do it. I know some people want to see it. They want to see like a copper helmet or a shiny blue helmet.
What about the new black Oilers jerseys we're going to see? I bet you'll love those, Connor, won't you?
Is that coming?
That's the rumor. They're going to have a black jersey.
Well, about time. I think every team should dabble in the all black jersey. It is a cool look. I love the Ravens when they do it. Football's only coming to mind right now. I think it's the LA Kings kind of have that with the Gretzky era as well.
Well, like I've said it, I hate the Ducks orange helmets and orange pants with their orange uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible look. Colorado, when they wear their blue helmets, I like. But yeah, for the most part, just stick with the simple white and black.
CH, the Madison Beer effect is a real problem. Herbert's stats since announcing that relationship have been mid at best. A damn shame. No, he's been good. He's great for him. That music means we're done. Coming up next, it's the Lowdown Flow Tide, followed by the Gregor Show. Right now, Sports 1440 update with the Duke, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com, only available in Leduc.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers. They are in Chicago to kick off the first of a back-to-back against Central Division teams. Puck drop coming up at 6:30 our time against the Blackhawks. Pre-game coverage beginning right here on Sports 1440 at 5:30. Lineup changes for the Oilers. Andrew Mangiapane expected to draw back in exchange for Ike Howard. Around the rest of the NHL, 8 other games, including the Red Hot Sabres hosting the Panthers. Kraken head to MSG to play the Rangers. Canucks are in Montreal. Avalanche hosting the Maple Leafs, and the Nightcap has the LA Kings hosting the Dallas Stars. Off the ice, Ottawa Senators signing veteran goaltender James Reimer to a one-way deal for the remainder of this season. Comes in at an $850K cap hit. Reimer spent last season split between the Ducks and Sabres, playing 24 NHL games. Wildcard weekend in the NFL wrapping up tonight between the Texans and Steelers from Pittsburgh. That'll kick off at 6:15, and a full slate of games in the association, half dozen total, including the Raptors. Second half of a back-to-back against the Sixers. That one tips off at 5:30 from Scotiabank Arena. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Brandon Douglas. That's your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station.